Okay, so let's go through this R formula question. So the first part we are asked to find the R formula and of course to solve the equation. So apparently this one is correct. Okay, for the part 2, right, state the largest and smallest values of this thing as seen on this, right? So and find the corresponding values of theta. Okay, so first thing we must understand that the largest value of your cosine theta minus 29.7, right? This thing is 1. So of course we submit 1 first. So 80 minus, you put a square bracket, square root 65 cosine theta minus 29.7 degree bracket, square bracket. Then you square again. Then you will notice one thing is that this is 1, right? So you square 65 times 1, you whole thing square, you will get 65. So it's equal to 80 minus 65. So this will become 15. So this 15 is so-called the smallest value. So this is the smallest value. Okay. Next will be, I want to determine what is the biggest value of the whole thing, right? So if you think about this, right, this thing, the smallest value is -1. But when you put inside the square, right, it will still give you +1, right? So of course I don't consider the -1, I will consider 0 because there are 3 values to this, right? So the first value is 1, second value is -1, and of course there's a third value called 0. So next you just put 80 minus square root 65 cosine theta minus 29.7 degree bracket, square again, right? So this whole thing here is 0, meaning that this whole thing is 0. So you just use 80 minus 0 square, which will still give you 80. So this will be your biggest value. Okay, so with this, right, we are asked to find the corresponding values of theta. So let's determine our 15 first. So since I already say that, my cosine theta, so and so forth, right, equal to 1. So I just equate this equal to 1 and solve accordingly. So cosine theta minus 29.7, right, degree equal to 1. Then just solve accordingly. So when you solve, right, because it's 1, right, so of course we need to consider the first and fourth quadrant. So the second is to determine your basic angle, cosine alpha is equal to 1. So your alpha, right, is equal to, let's determine 1. Okay, so your alpha is equal to 0 degree. So meaning that, okay, so when I draw, right, the third step is to draw. The first step is to determine the quadrant. The second step is to draw. The second step is to find the base angle. Third step is to draw the thing. So when you draw, right, okay, let's determine the first step. The first quadrant. So it's theta minus 29.7 degree. So this thing here is 0 degree. So this is a basic angle. So theta itself will be equal to 29.7 degree. Yeah, so we don't need to consider fourth quadrant, because if you consider fourth quadrant, I rotate the other way around. So I rotate here, right? So when I rotate in the clockwise direction, you must put a negative theta minus 29.7 degree. So of course will give you 0, right? So this is 0 also. So the theta that you get will also be 29.7. So that is how you do the R formula question.